everyone. I'm Mackenzie. It's nice to see you all. I have a question. When you were a child and on your first day of school, your teacher asked you, what do you want to be when you grow up? What did you say? An astronaut, teacher, rock star? Well, how lucky are we that we have this opportunity to answer that question and pursue a dream? How fortunate are we that we have the ability to obtain one of the best educations in the world and be given opportunities like I've been given tonight to speak with you all. According to the White House blog, 65,000 young adults, people our age in this country, have been denied the right to obtain a dream because they have been oppressed by an ugly label. They have been smeared as illegal immigrants. They have been denied the right to the American dream, the ability to test dreams, and to live a story. These young adults, slandered as illegal immigrants, did not choose to immigrate to the United States. Their parents made that choice. And these young adults have lived here for most of their lives. Most don't even know that they are undocumented. And so these young adults are deemed illegal, so they cannot drive, they cannot attend college, they cannot hold a job, they cannot support themselves or their family. And what they want most is to be recognized for what they truly are, and that is American. But there is a solution. The DREAM Act gives a path to legalization for these innocent victims of the U.S.'s broken immigration system. This already proposed act needs to be passed as soon as possible. And we as students and professors and citizens of this country should feel empowered to support this act so that we have the chance to collaborate and make connections with some of the brightest and the most driven students in this country. This evening, I'll talk about what the DREAM Act is, how we can benefit from it, why the act needs to be passed as soon as possible, and I'll also talk about some of the opposing attitudes to the act. So essentially, the act promises citizenship for those who can earn it in 10 years. Currently, they have to be under the age of 30, and they had to be under the age of 16 when they entered the country. And they cannot receive any grants or financial aid while in college, and their family must be deported back to their native country for 10 years. There are expectations that include good behavior and moral judgment, of course, and passing the citizenship test, being able to read, speak, and write proficiently in English, and any violation of one of these will result in immediate deportation. So after they become citizens, they will never be able to have Medicaid, food stamps, and they cannot benefit from any other programs of entitlement ever. So clearly, any person who has the motivation to follow through these rules and expectations shows the passion to earn citizenship in this country. And so you may be wondering how we all can benefit from this act. And according to the Huffington Post, the DREAM Act will cut high school dropouts, it will reduce crime, it will send more people to college, it will increase military recruitment, and it will stimulate our economy. When these young adults find out that they are illegal immigrants, usually when applying for a driver's license or to secondary schools and are then denied, they realize that they will never get the chance to go to college. So there's less incentive for them to do well, they usually drop out, and they become a burden to society as many join gangs and commit illegal activity. So what this would do, according to the LA Times, 400,000 illegal immigrants every year drop out of high school. Providing them the opportunity to go to college and be successful would motivate these students to graduate high school, and it would reduce our crime rate. Moreover, it would increase college attendance. We can, as students and professors and citizens, we should be passionate about this so we can collaborate and make connections with some of the brightest people in this country, and we can also create more opportunities for ourselves. The DREAM Act will also increase the size of the armed forces. Many of the eligible young adults have the option of obtaining citizenship through military service, and with one of the strongest military services in the world, and with increasing global demands, it would be greatly beneficial to have an increase in participation. Lastly, once these young adults obtain citizenship and enter the workforce, they will stimulate our economy exponentially. They become bigger consumers, but they also become taxpayers. So, according to the Congressional Budget Office, in 10 years, the Act will cut the deficit from $1.4 billion and increase the revenue to $2.3 billion. According to the Washington Post, students that would be impacted could add between $1.4 to $3.6 trillion in taxable income to our economy. So there are obviously a lot of benefits to the DREAM Act. So why hasn't it been passed yet? Well, according to Politico, George W. Bush's administration first proposed the act in 2001 with the No Child Left Behind Act, but there were a lot of loopholes. But then those loopholes were removed, and the bill was proposed again in December of last year. And it failed by only 5 votes, despite the fact that, according to the Christian Science Monitor, 58% of American voters actually want this bill to be passed. So some politicians do not want the DREAM Act to be passed, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but out of pure racism. According to Think Progress, a popular news blog, Representative Dana Rohrabacher of California called it the Affirmative Action Amnesty Act, putting, quote, immigrants ahead of every American child who's not a minority. This quote, I believe, is representative of many, many attitudes against the DREAM Act. First, he implies that every minority in this country is illegal. Simply put, America is a country built from immigration, and we have prospered so much by opening our doors to immigrants. Secondly, he sees it as a zero-sum game. He thinks that if an immigrant goes to college or gets a job, that's one less opportunity for the rest of us. But this is simply false. These young adults eligible for citizenship are not taking a piece of the pie away, but rather increasing the entire pie by creating opportunities for us to innovate and share ideas. So, to conclude, we must recognize that the continued failure to create a strong immigration policy will haunt this country's reputation of diplomacy, it's going to hurt our economy, and it will slow our innovation. We, as students and professors and citizens, we must feel passionate about this and be empowered to support the DREAM Act so that we all can collaborate and make connections with the brightest and the best and the most motivated people in this world. The Miami Herald interviewed many victims of our nation's weak immigration policy. And so what would you say to Adrian Escarte, who was just 3 years old when his parents immigrated illegally from Chile to the United States? And recently he applied to college, but realized he couldn't when he didn't have a social security number. And he said, I don't get it. I don't know Chile. The only country that I know is this one. And it's heartbreaking that these kids are American in every single way except on paper, and they live in a shadow of fear through no fault of their own. And we have failed them, and we have failed our own progress. So we must act responsibly, and we must support the DREAM Act. Thank you.